bonging at us again. I don't know why. Hi, I'm reviewing a Ssangyong this week for some reason. You may remember Ssangyong for such aesthetic classics as the Rhodius, the Action, and the Mark II Korando. But probably not, because despite being South Korea's fourth largest car manufacturer, and indeed the current holder of the Caravan and Motorhome Club Tow Car of the Year award, Ssangyong has only sold about 3,000 cars so far this year. For reference, it's about the same number of cars that Ford sells in 4 days or so. There's no justice in the world, right? I mean, this Korando here not only won that Tow Car of the Year award, it's also 2012's SUV of the Year in Macedonia. According to Wikipedia anyway, which means it's definitely a fact. Still, the point stands that Ssangyong might have... What's that? Oh, it's a silent S. Okay, sorry. The point is that Ssangyong might have a background in bum-clenchingly ugly cars, but it's now catching up. I mean, its latest crossover, the Tivoli, is actually pretty good. And the Korando here, well, looks okay, right? Does, from the outside. From here, not so much. Yep, Ssangyong is definitely still playing catch-up in the old interior ambience department. And by catch-up, I mean it's trying to reach Japanese hatchback in the mid-90s sort of levels. It's quite a depressing mix of old and older in here. All dressed in black and illuminated by the occasional bright orange liquid crystal display. I mean, what even is this? If anybody happens to know how long it takes eyelashes to grow back in, if you could let me know in the comments. Just asking for a friend. You know, it's okay in here. The issue is that it feels like an old car. It is really. It was released all the way back in 2010, which in car years makes it ancient. But it was facelifted in 2016, and there are things in here that just don't cut it. Like cramped pedals in a car this size. And then there's stuff that's just like weird. So there's a USB port here for your phone, which is fine. But then next to it, there's an HDMI socket. Not really sure why you'd want to plug your Xbox into your car dashboard, but I guess it's nice to have the option. And I mean, it looks okay, but it's hardly stunning, is it? It's only really when you put it in the context of the other Ssangyongs that it starts to look attractive. The automotive cheerleader effect, if you will. And to drive, it's not much cop either. The driving position's okay, and you sit high so you can see everything and all that, but then that's just standard SUV stuff, isn't it? Not many SUVs of this size have a cramped footwell. And if you're on anything other than a glassy road, it does have that unsettled ride quality that you get with older non-European SUVs. Except that it's a crossover, which means you can get 2- and 4-wheel drive versions, and that the former are supposed to be big family cars rather than farmer wagons. In that sense, the Korando just feels too unsophisticated to compete with, you know, the Qashqai and the likes. As in crossovers that don't even pretend to be anything other than big fat family hatchbacks, and therefore drive with a bit of dynamism and involvement, and have a suspension setup that keeps the car nice and steady when you're on your way to the shops and that. The steering is slow, the body control is all over the place, and if you bought a front wheel drive one, it's no more suited to being on muddy ground than a middle class student is. You turn a corner at any sort of speed and it feels like the steering wheel's attached to thin air. Now, I know that doesn't really matter in a car like this, but you know, it just adds to the whole sensation of this feeling old and unsophisticated and a bit wobbly. Yet there are some very appealing things about this car, and the first one is the price. For all the space it has, this is a dirt cheap car. It starts below 16 grand, although that's for the sole petrol version, which manages to combine the efficiency of a 300 horsepower sports car with the power of a 1 litre runabout. So probably best stick with a diesel, not least because the 4x4 diesels start at just £18,000. So if you consider that, say, the Nissan Qashqai costs more than £19,000 at the bottom of the range, or 28 if you want a 4x4 one, then you can see what sort of value the Korando gives you. It's also very spacious and practical in here. It feels like a big car front and back, so there's lots of headroom and legroom. And there's plenty of storage in the cabin, and as we already know, it's pretty mint at pulling a caravan. And it does have that sort of hefty utilitarian sort of feel that'll make you believe it's going to last a long time. You probably don't know this, but Ssangyong does do an actual luxury car for its home market in Korea. True story, it's called a Chairman W. Named after a Bond villain. so it should know a thing or two about making a high quality cabin.
Throw me a frickin' bone here.
In fact, Ssangyong is so confident of the general solidity of the Korando that it gives you a 5-year unlimited mileage warranty.
Okay then.
And it's appealing in other ways too. The boot is substantial, comparing pretty well to other stuff in the family crossover class. And it not only has a high floor so it's easy to load, it also has these handy compartments underneath the floor so you can, hide your Xbox or whatever. And assuming you buy the diesel, the running costs are okay too. Not the best, but okay. You're looking at a 53 miles per gallon average on paper if you've got a front wheel drive car, although if you get a 4x4 one, that does take a substantial hit. It has 178 horsepower, which is not bad, and you can get it with an automatic gearbox, although if you compare it to the European stuff, it doesn't really come out very well. You get what you pay for. A principle that applies here too. This is the sort of clattery 4-cylinder diesel that gives you a proper retro ear bashing. It's quite grungy, which I suppose puts it in the right decade given the general vibe in the cabin here. However, there is something quite cool about this particular type of engine character. See, where Volkswagen and the like have spent the last 15 odd years smoothing out their diesel engines in every way, this one has a real short, sharp turbo kick. So we're in third, doing 30, foot down, nothing, nothing, nothing. There it is. Bosh. Again, very grungy. Soft, 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 soft. Loud! You get a lot of kit here too. Standard stuff includes aircon, Bluetooth, cruise control, and from the middle of the range, which is priced where a lot of its rivals start, the kit list has a positively luxurious vibe. And in that sense, I can see why the Korando has a certain type of appeal. As a well-priced, utilitarian, no-nonsense, large and, let's face it, rare sort of vehicle. Do I like it? No, not really, but there's enough going for it to justify its existence. They should put that phrase on a sticker on the back of the car. That would work well. Thanks for watching. Go to HonestJohn.co.uk, subscribe, etc. Bye!